Zero Parades for Dead Spies is the new game from developers which worked on Disco Elysium. But does this game cause panic at the disco? Let's find out.
I'm talking about cultural ephemera.
It's gonna be tectonic, Hersh.
Hey everybody, my name is Warwick and welcome to Warwick Reviews with a review of Zero Parades for Dead Spies. And I do want to say a big shout out to the team for the review copy, I really appreciate that. But also thank you for watching and or listening. Again, my name is Warwick and I do a lot of reviews and previews and a lot of content on this channel. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, I really appreciate that. Also, let me know in the comments what you think of this review or any of our other videos. Also, you'll find me on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Warwick. And all the socials where you may be. But like I said, this is Zero Parades for Dead Spies, so let's get stuck in. So Zero Spies finds you playing a burnt out spy, attempting to reassemble your former network of assets for a desperate final mission. So you start off basically with this agent, and about 5 years or so ago, you accidentally led your team to not great things. You don't really know what's happened, but basically you're trying to sort of do some right with yourself, but also the people that you failed. And so you now basically have been assigned a mysterious assignment. You don't know what you're doing. You're sort of very much going in completely blind, but this may give you a chance to prove yourself once again and right the wrongs that you may or may not committed. So this comes with untangling a bloody mess of economic and ideological intrigues, investigating deep origins of consciousness, and trusting only in yourself. All very highbrow stuff. But basically you are playing an agent and you got this mission and you start off in the game, don't know where you are, you're in some random apartment, you've got a companion who seems to be out of it, and you're speaking to people and you're like, okay, you've got a mission, you've been told not to do the mission, but you're going to try to do mission anyway. You don't know what the mission is, and so you go about and basically start chatting with people and interacting in the world. That's basically it of the story. I would say there's a lot more with these sort of games, especially if you play like Disco Elysium, but that's basically the basic premise of the game without giving too much away. Because these types of games, there's a lot of story and a lot of information that if I gave now, it probably would sort of ruin the whole experience. So try to keep it very basic, as the game does as well. At the very start, you are going in and it's like, okay, I'm playing this character, I'm doing this mission. What's this mission? I don't really know. Let's go find out things and start speaking to people and basically building a story around us and for us as well. But that's not all with the game, obviously. That'll be a very, very short review. So there are some sort of these mechanics in the game. So there's something called change your mind. So you are able to sort of reorder your innermost thoughts to become the operant you want to be. So what that means is it's similar to like how you build a character and sort of like D&D or TTRPGs, and we can build your character and you can sort of dump stats into sort of things that you want. Very similar mechanic in this game where if you want to sort of play in different, more smart, you can put more stuff in there, more brawl or more brawns and stuff, or a bit of a mixture, and sort of play it how you want to, how you want your agent to be. And so with that, you can sort of play it how you are. So one person may play it in a completely different way compared to you, because having these stats and having these abilities in certain areas will impact the game in different ways. So for example, you may be speaking to someone through sort of intense dialogue and you might have not a lot of smarts, so you may struggle or not have as many options to be able to get the information that you need. But you may have brawn, so you may be able to sort of do a part of a mission or part of your investigation in a different way, maybe a bit more sort of physical, where you may kick down a door rather than speaking to someone. So you can do that. You can update your stats as you play the game. So if you go, you get like experience points with doing things in the game, and so you can build up and actually, you know what, I'm going to put more stats on this side or something, or maybe make myself super brawny or super brainy or loads of brawny or whatever you want to do. So you can do all that. So that's cool. There's also like at points where you can do like split second decisions. So throughout, you can basically improvise your way through conversations, but also intense encounters with sort of enemies and sort of rivals. And so it's about thinking about how you want to play at that moment. So there's certain points with sort of either dice rolling or actually sort of think about where you go. Like, do you investigate somewhere or do you try to chase someone? It's about making decisions of how you want to play it. So there's a lot of like dialogue and stuff, and then there'll be certain points where you do some dice rolls and it will sort of show you, okay, so these are your options. You can either speak to them or you can maybe kick down a door, and these are the rolls and these are the percentages that may happen. And so they will show you. So some of it might be like, you know what, you might have a pretty decent chance of doing this, so go for it. You know, you can roll it. Dice may not be in your favor, but you know what, have a pretty good chance. Sometimes it might be like, you know what, you have zero chance or have very little chance. Do not even try. But again, you're more welcome to try. And with that, you can also exert yourself. So if you feel like you really want to get like a dialogue option, you're like, you know what, I need to help. And you exert yourself. And this is where another element comes from with this game. So you have sort of, there is health, but in health in a different way. So with the health is basically done through three sort of different sort of status effects. So fatigue, anxiety, and delirium. And these are things that you need to manage throughout the game, because if you don't, then you can get bad conditions and it can affect how the game basically works for you. So if like fatigue is simple enough, you get more fatigue, get more tired, so you're not able to do as many things that will impact how you investigate and your stats there. Anxiety, exactly the same. The more anxious you get, the more that you feel maybe paranoid or not able to sort of read people or investigate. And then with delirium, it affects your intelligence and stuff. You sort of seeing things or hallucinating things through the game and through conversations. So these sort of stats are things that you need to manage. There are things you can pick up in the game, like either food and like sort of supplies, like cigarettes and like booze and stuff, that do have calming effects to your sort of status effects. But also they may add things on top, so sort of dealing with that. And if you do get too high, where you like, the issue is that then you have to permanently reduce one of your status effects within that. I maxed it out because I was just playing it, just seeing how it worked and stuff, and I had to choose basically to permanently impact one of the status effects that I had. And so it's basically making a decision. So, okay, you know what? Let's not get that high, because otherwise you're going to impact yourself for the rest of the game. Makes it interesting playthrough, but again, you have to make sure you think of these things. So there's sort of mechanics. And also speaking about that, it does come with skills. So the skills do get impacted by sort of your free health bars, but skills are basically represented like sort of like pin badges, actually, which is quite nice. Hopefully they'll release them as an actual merch ring. They're really nice. But they sort of symbolize sort of different aspects. So like nerve, doppelgang, instincts, blueprints, poetic, etc. So these are sort of things that you can customize throughout the game. So when you get like experience points, you know what, I want to be have a bit more instincts, so a bit more sneaky or shadowy, so I can be able to do more, or maybe be better at lock picking or, you know, interrogating people, for example. And again, you can play these around and sort of play how you want to play it with that, but skills are very important to get the information. There'll be certain aspects where like you have to be a certain level in a skill in order to do a certain thing. So making sure you are on top of that. There's also conditioning. So in Zero Parades, you got sort of your mind, which is a very powerful weapon, but also can be quite fragile. So you can pick conditioning where certain things, or like sort of stat effects, or you can upgrade your stats so they can sort of go, you know what, if you pick something up, you can have it sort of like unlock like a slot in your mind. And you can, you know, I want this condition where it may help improve certain aspects on top of what you already have. Really nice feature as well, you can customize your character. So you do pick up items, as I said. You also pick up clothing. You can either buy or just pick up clothing, and you can pick up these items. You can dress up what you want. Like I picked up some like fairy lights, and I was able to wear them and stuff. And you can just run around naked if you want to, barring underwear, of course. So you can, I quite like that. I like the customization thing. It's a nice little touch. Doesn't seem to really change anything that I've seen in the game. It maybe impacts that you have to be wearing certain clothing at a certain point and be like, oh, actually, I'm not going to talk to you unless you're wearing this. But I wouldn't be surprised if that happens later on in the game. Quickly go through the settings. I always like to go through settings whenever I do reviews, just to see what they're about, to make sure they're accessible for as many people as possible, and if there's anything they can improve. And I will say, with this game, the settings are pretty good. So you've got different settings, you've got different like subsections. So audio, display, visuals, gameplay, and controls. Audio, there's quite a lot of options here, more so than I normally see in audio settings. Sometimes you may get a master volume and maybe SFX, and that's it. Here, you see you have quite a lot of different options that you can change and customize. Voiceover you can change as well. So for example, with a voiceover, you've got narrating characters, but you can have characters only or even none. So you can change it completely. So you can just read it. The mixing style of the audio, the panning of it, and even high pitch and low pitch filters. So it's really nice to see. Display, standard stuff. Display is where you display it on your monitor, how big you want it, VSync and frame limits if you got that, and render quality. Simple, straightforward stuff. I will say it is nice that it does sort of explain what each bit does next to it. So for example, screen resolution, set the display resolution of the game. Reducing this can improve in performance. So nice that it describes what it is that you are changing. Visuals. Quite a lot of options here. Obviously, this is a very text-heavy game, so there's a lot of emphasis on text size. So you sort of see like the text, and you see how the text changes in size when you change it. There's dyslexic font, which is always nice to see in these games, and how quickly the text goes as well. So you can change the speeds, gamma correction, and then sort of high contrast and sort of thickness with the font as well. Different colors as well if you want to change that. Gameplay, simple stuff, but you've got text language. So you've got Dutch, Polish, Spanish, etc. So text language, you've got mouse lock. So when enabled, the mouse cannot leave the bounds of the game window, so you can lock your mouse in there. Other settings are standard, like sort of toggle keyboard sprints. There's Twitch integration. So with certain games with Twitch, you can interact with these games. So like Cult of Lamb is similar to sort of one where you can interact with them and get involved. Here, basically what it is your chat, when you connect it, they better vote on like dialogue and journal tasks when the player allows it. So your chat will better interact with it, which is quite cool. And last but not least, leads to controls for both keyboard and mouse and gamepad. And what's great to see here is it's fully customizable. So normally, especially with PC games, the keyboard and mouse is customizable to your heart's content, but the gamepad or the controller normally isn't customizable. Even if it is, it's very basic. Here, it seems that everything can be changed to your liking. So every single, even up, down, left and right, you can change to however you want to on your gamepad. So you want to be up and down and A, you can make that happen and customize it, and obviously make sure you don't actually set it off. So you got that there. Nothing too major, but nice sort of quality control with the settings, more so than seen in other games. And yeah, that's our settings. And that's basically Zero Parades. It's very much a choice-based sort of RPG type game. It's very much about intrigue. It's very sort of political, and there's a lot of sort of information, a lot of talking and stuff in the game, and the characters and sort of like a lot of intrigue, and about a very rich world. But is it worth your time? It is a difficult one. I enjoyed my time with this game. Zero Parades is a competent game. I enjoyed my time. Throughout my playthrough, I kept thinking of Disco Elysium. Now, if you don't know Disco Elysium, it's a very phenomenal game by developers of Zaum, and something that has been regarded as one of the best games of all time, and warranted as well. It's an incredible game. What it did, what it's trying to tell, the story is weaving, and everything about it was just incredible. And while Zero Parades is very competent, it did feel like almost it was trying to be Disco Elysium 0.5. Trying to be Disco Elysium, trying to reach for the moon is commendable. I absolutely will always encourage game developers to reach as hard as they possibly can and create masterpieces. And if they're influenced by certain games or certain genres, then absolutely go. If something works, keep it going. But there was just points where I was playing the game and I just felt like Disco Elysium did this but better, and that is such a shame because the game looks fantastic. Zero Parades looks fantastic. I love the world. It's very colorful. Feels like more colorful than Disco Elysium. It feels like more vibrant. There's a lot more people to talk to and stuff, which I really, really like, especially sort of like the day-night stuff, where during the day there's a lot of characters that you can interact with, and it seemed really cool. But just throughout the dialogue trees and stuff, like, again, very competent, but I just didn't feel that hook with the conversations and stuff. It just felt, unfortunately, like it was trying to be too much like Disco Elysium and failing. And it's such a shame. Again, it's a competent game. I would recommend people checking it out, or at least a demo. But if you're going in from Disco Elysium, I think you'll probably come out disappointed. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because you're being compared to one of the best games of all time, in my personal opinion. And even if it reaches halfway through, it's still a good game. And I'm not saying it's not a good game. It is a good game in its own right. But I do feel like it's just a little bit too close to Disco Elysium, and fortunately will be compared to it, and for that I feel like it doesn't quite reach the heights that it wants to. And so that's where we are with Zero Parades. Let me know what you think of the game. If you've checked it out, the demo, you checked it out. If you think I'm wrong, please tell me. I'd love to know if I'm wrong or not. I'll just talk about all sorts and just hopefully it makes sense. But either way, thank you so much for listening and or watching. Again, big shout out to Zaytum for the review code. We appreciate that. But most of all, thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate that. I cannot do these videos without you, so thank you. Again, my name is Warwick, and I do a lot of reviews and previews and unboxing all sorts on this channel, but also you will find me on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Warwick, and all the socials where you may be. But thank you so much for being here. Please take care, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye. Also, very sorry for the pun at the beginning. Okay, bye-bye.